What's good, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Two Guys and a Mic. I am one of your hosts, RP. And as you can tell, I am in a certain kind of mood today. And I think I should be. Adjust my camera a little bit, at least a little bit. I'm in a certain kind of mood today. I actually should be in a really, really good mood. As you can see, I'm kind of guardianed out or Indians out, however you want to look at it. Because we have a game 5 today out in the Bronx. It's a little later. I think it's at 7:07 tonight. So I'm pretty excited about that. Even though we lost yesterday, I still feel pretty good about them being where they are. So I should be a little more excited. But as you can tell, as always, yesterday was Sunday. So there's always, in the fall, there's always some BS that has to be reported. And it generally comes from the area of the Cleveland Browns. And yesterday was another example, another kind of, I don't know if I should say nail in the coffin. I don't know if it's, another paint stroke. But what I do know is that this, in its current form, it can't continue. It cannot continue. And, me being the type of fan that I am and the type of host of a show that I am, I really want to make sure that you guys don't just have a full-on opinion of just what I think. I do actually try to go do research, as Sean would say, and I'm sorry I forgot to introduce Sean because I got right into being frustrated. Sean isn't with us today again, so I'm just trying to hold the fort down. What's up, Sean? Love you, dog. Can't wait till we can, coordinate our schedules and get ourselves back on the same screen at the same time so that we can, do what we really, really enjoy doing. But I did talk to Sean. I did have some conversations with him about yesterday's game, and flat out in a sentence, I'm done, is what this dude said. And I'm going to address some of the fans and some of the thought processes that go into this, because I think his sentiment is very much. I think it's common anymore. People are starting to, kind of jump ship, and it's like a bad spot in a relationship. You got to question everything. You have to try to address everything and see, what means what, and what can you do to fix it, and if you could do anything to fix it, all of those different things. And I think that's where we are as fans right now. We're only 6 games in, but we don't like, and this is the good thing about fandom, those of us who are intelligent enough to look at things for what they are, you can see that this ain't turning the right way. This isn't going the right way at all. A couple weeks ago, when I did the show, I introduced you guys to what I like to call it was a triumvirate, a 3-headed dragon, and then I added in another cat to for you guys to focus on. Again, I try not to just give you my opinion. I do give you my opinion, and I do tell you what I think, because I see things, because I understand a few things. But when you do a show, it's important to not just just give your opinion. It's important to at least acknowledge other factors and other things that play into this. So my opinion usually comes from a place of some level of knowledge, not just from watching the games, not just from my own opinion, but the bit of research that I put in or that we put in really goes into formulating what we put out on the show. So I came up with this triumvirate a couple weeks ago. And for those of you who didn't see the show or didn't watch or didn't or don't know what I'm talking about, the triumvirate that I came up with was this three-headed dragon of Joe Woods, Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry. These are the three-headed monsters that pretty much run and dictate what happens with the Cleveland Browns as it pertains to the brand that we see on the field. Okay, Kevin Stefanski is the head coach, and he's I keep calling him the offensive coordinator, and I probably will until he gets an actual offensive coordinator that calls plays, but he actually calls the plays. Alex Van Pelt is the offensive coordinator by title, but apparently all he does is nod his head and say okay to whatever Kevin Stefanski wants to do. And I'm going to continue to think that way and feel that way until I see something different. I haven't heard anything differently. Kevin Stefanski defiantly tells you on a regular basis that he's the play caller, and he confers with AVP, Alex Van Pelt, and Bill Callahan, the offensive line coach. He confers with them about what he wants to run. So what you see on the field is a product of what this guy draws up and what he calls. So the other pieces to this triumvirate are Joe Woods, the defensive coordinator, and Andrew Berry, the general manager, or I think he's the president of personnel. I think that's his actual title. Nonetheless, these three guys are in charge of what product we see on the field, the actual on-field thing. And I'm gonna tell you what I see on the field right now is, as my friend SpongeBob says, this team is 2-4. This team could easily be 5-1. Easily be 5-1. Now, people would say, well, we could easily be 5-1. So we shouldn't be upset. We just got to do a few things right. No. We could easily be 5-1, but that takes execution. That takes precision in the play calling, and it takes something that this team hasn't shown me that it has, which is why I'm so down on them. In general, I'm not always so down on them, but I see things and I understand things to be something sometimes that it people may not want it to be or may not like for it to be. But the truth of the matter is, we got to deal with it. Excuse me for 1 second. Got a little nasally today. It's been weird. This weather has been a bit weird here in Cleveland. Actually, it's probably been more normal than usual because it's like in the 50s and 40s in October, which is kind of normal. If I go back to my childhood anyway, it just isn't this cold, this fast, it doesn't seem like. But anyway, this team hasn't shown me the capabilities of changing that narrative. And I'll bring that up in a second because I want to run into this product that we saw yesterday. I want to get into that, and then I'm going to try to remember to come back to this point when I wrap it up. So yesterday we had another terrible, terrible performance. We played the New England Patriots. We all know what that means. We all know who that means. That means Bill Belichick. And here since, of course, since we've come back, um, doesn't matter who his quarterback was, doesn't matter who his running back was, doesn't matter who his slot receivers were, doesn't matter who he had on defense, doesn't matter who was selling popcorn for him, doesn't matter. This dude just comes in, smacks the Browns around, and goes back to Foxborough. And it happened again yesterday. Another terrible performance by the Cleveland Browns versus the New England Patriots. What was it, 38-15 we lost? And believe it or not, we were sort of close at a point. We were only like a touchdown down later in that game, like 24-15. But I'll get into that because the game really was never that close. A completely listless performance by the offense, by the defense. A cowardly performance by the offensive play caller. Cowardly. And another inept performance by the defense. Joe Woods is bad at what he does, but he was not helped by any of his players yesterday other than maybe Myles Garrett. And that's a scary thing, what I'm starting to see and what I'm starting to feel coming off of this team. The game plan was shitty. The ability to make adjustments, which this team has none of. Shitty. When things didn't go, the way that we wanted them to go, or didn't go the way Kev expected it to go, he didn't know what to do. He can't make adjustments. He doesn't know how to make adjustments. And the adjustments that he does make, terrible. We're going to get into that in a minute. So let's get in. I'm starting with Kevin. I'm going to start with Kevin. It wasn't my plan. I planned to do it a different way, but I'm starting with Kevin. Kevin Stefanski, the play caller, is not good at his job. He's actually, let me be clear. I've said this for 3 years, okay? I ain't just starting to get on this guy. I'm not just starting to say the things that I'm saying. If you guys have followed the show, and most of the people who watch the show anymore most of the people who watch the show or pay attention to the show, have heard me say this over and over again over the last 3 years that we've done the show, over the last 3 seasons. When I said it before, Sean thought and felt, especially when I said it during the first year, Sean thought and felt that I was being unfair, that I wasn't giving the dude an opportunity to, do his job. He's a good organizer of the team, and we've looked better as a team than we've looked in years, et cetera, et cetera. So Sean was, standing behind him and defending him. And I'm not even riding Sean. I think when you've seen the poor brand of football that we've seen over the 20 plus years since the reincarnation of this team, and you finally see something that's steady and that you can kind of buy into, yeah, you want to do that. Okay. But the truth is the truth. And I said this 3 years ago, and I'm still saying it today. Kevin Stefanski can script the shit out of a football game, those first 15 to 20 play calls. He does a really good job of scripting football games. And most teams come out with a script. Most teams figure after watching film or whatever they do during the week. They practice a certain kind of way. They practice certain plays and they do certain things, which puts them in a position to be prepared for the game on Sunday. So they end up doing this, they end up doing that, they end up doing this play, and they usually get solid results. He's really good at that. Where he drops the ball at is when he has to go outside of that, when those plays don't necessarily go as well as he thought, or when the game shifts in a way that decisions have to be made in the moment. You know, situational football is what we call that. He's awful at situational football. Go back and look at the tapes if you don't believe that I've been saying this for 3 years. 3 years, I've been saying this dude stinks at situational play calling. He's not good at it. And he did it again today, or yesterday rather. He did it again. Most of the day, he did it again. You're down 24-15 with 6-7 minutes left and 3 timeouts in the game. And you go for 2. Why? You still got to go for 2. You're gonna have to go for 2 if we score again. Or was it 4 minutes? I don't know. I think it was 4 minutes. It was more than enough time for him to get the ball and to have the ball, get the ball, and put this product, kick the field goal, or excuse me, kick the extra point, and try to get the ball back. So it's like 24-16. Now, if we can stop these guys, get the ball back, and score again, now you got an opportunity to go for the 2. That's when you go for the 2. There's no need to go for the 2 at that point. So now you don't go, you go for 2. You don't try to kick the extra point. You don't get it. So you got another level of disappointment. Like, you can't feel the pulse of your team, bro. I don't get that. And that's just as an offensive play caller. And he did a terrible job because Jacoby Brissett threw the ball 45 times. I said this in the last show. I used to say this about Baker, too. This dude throws over 30 times. We have less and less of a chance of winning. Jacoby Brissett is the exact same. If this dude is throwing 35 times a game, which is what he threw a couple weeks ago, we're setting ourselves up for failure. So what does this guy do? He goes out and pushes him to throw 10 more times, 45 times Jacoby Brissett threw. If you tell anybody, go to a sports book before the game and say to guys, hey, listen, if you're getting ready to lay any money on the Browns, just so you know, Jacoby Brissett's going to throw 45 times today. I'll bet you that'll change the lines on that bet, whatever the lines are. It's a bad decision, bro. Terrible. It was a cowardly decision. This dude went away from the run. He went away from his bread and butter. He went away from the thing his team does best. I keep hearing people say, hey, man, the Patriots, they stopped the run. No, they didn't. You know who stopped the run? You know who played the best defense for the Patriots? Kevin Stefanski. He played the best defense. Him and Jacoby Brissett, they played the best defense for the damn Patriots. Jacoby Brissett turned the ball over 3 times. 2 very poorly thrown balls, and he threw balls bad all day, by the way. Underthrew everybody, even the ones that he, ended up, only one pass I think he dropped in like he was supposed to, and that was a touchdown to Coop. Other than that, he was shitty all day. He was all day. And he had 3 turnovers, but the more you put the ball in his hand, trash happens. Bill Belichick did not stop Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb had 12 carries for 56 yards. That's 4.7 yards a carry. Yeah, we know he averages over 5 yards a carry. 4.7 yards per carry, y'all. He wasn't stopped. What stopped is those carries. 12 carries. We finished the first half with 2 timeouts. And we went into the 2-minute warning with 3 timeouts at the end of the game. It's poor football, bro. And then he gets up on the podium after the game. We all saw the game. Everybody thought the game was everybody thought the game was. He gets on the podium and he says what he always says. We got beat in all facets. We got to do better. We'll look at the tape. We'll go back. We'll reassess everything. We'll throw everything at it. And then we'll get prepared for next week. Just like we did last week. Huh? So wait, you're going to do exactly what you did last week when you got your ass kicked, and the same thing that you did to prepare for the Patriots and got your ass kicked, and you're going to do it again this week? For the first time in a long time, I said, this dude got to go. That ain't going to cut it. That says a couple of things. Either A, he doesn't know what to do. He was like shell-shocked. He looked like he was shell-shocked. I truly believe that if he hasn't lost the locker room, he's starting to lose the locker room. There's too much talent in that room. There's too much talent in that room for these things to continue to happen. He can't keep calling offenses and offensive plays and shit without utilizing your talent. It's not your scheme. Your scheme might be decent, but the talent is what's going to make your scheme. So draw some plays up based on your talent as well. Ride your horse. Stop being afraid. But that's not what happened. That's not what we're seeing. And what we are seeing is a really, really bad scene. It's a really, really bad scene. Like, we're getting ready to play 2 divisional games in the upcoming 2 weeks, and it is. I don't see where it's going to get better for this team, because I don't see where this team wants to shift and get better. And it's got to start up top. It's got to start with Kevin Stefanski, and it's got to start in here, and it's got to start in here. Stop being what I'm gonna steal. I'm gonna do what he does. I'm gonna steal a line from Debo. Stop being a little bitch and come on, Kevin. Stop being a little bitch. Stop being afraid. Call a game, and call a game regular. It's 4th and 1. I will give you this. He did run the ball with Kareem the one time on 3rd and 1. He did run with Jack on the 4th and 1, and we didn't get it either time. I'm okay with those calls, because the odds say that we should get those most of the time. And I'm only okay with the touchdown to Amari, which happened on the 4th down, because it was a touchdown. It was actually a well-thrown ball. It was a good route. Like, everything about the play was nice. When it happens right, it was nice. So again, I'm not saying that everything that this dude has called has been the worst, because I did also point out that Jacoby Brissett was bad all day. So that handcuffs what you want to do. But when you see that, you got to be smart enough. I almost took my eye out because I was trying to poke myself in the temple. You got to be smart enough, Kevin, to make the adjustment and put the ball in somebody else's hands. like Nick Chubb. It's not a bad thing, bro. Or shortening the field. Why do you keep throwing downfield? Or why do you keep setting up plays to be thrown downfield? Just go. That's what they want you to do. You playing right into their hands, dummy. Just dumb. Terrible, disheartening performance by my head coach, and an absolute brain fart by the play caller. Let me move on. Because I don't have all day. Joseph Woods. I wrote this down, and I wrote this down on purpose because I didn't want to forget it. It's hard to forget because this happens every week. It was a bad day for Joe. His defense isn't tough, isn't disciplined. They can't tackle. They can't stop a nosebleed on the run. They can't cover a bed with a blanket in the pass game. They are not smarter than the fifth grader when it comes to their football IQ. Now, again, I will say this. This dude's defense let him down. His players let him down. They did not play good today, or excuse me, yesterday. I'm used to doing the show after the games. I think it's just embedded in me. But they did not do him any favors yesterday. They did not do him any favors yesterday, the way that these guys performed. Again, only Myles Garrett kind of showed up or did anything that was worth talking about. Everybody else was just on the field. Everybody else was just out there. His defense is absolutely inept. Again, I'm stuck between whether it's all play calling or if it's mostly on personnel, which is where I usually drag Andrew Berry into the fray. I again will admit that last night's game, yesterday's game, the performance, by the defense, what they did or what they didn't do, it was players. So maybe he did call a good play, but the players were out of position per usual, missed a lot of tackles per usual, looked as though they didn't know where they were supposed to be as usual, which goes back to the out of position thing. And that's still on the coach. He might not have had the right personnel on the field. Maybe this guy's better at this than this guy. But you still got him on the field, and that's still the play you call. And if your personnel ain't right, you got to let these guys know. That's on you, Joe. That's on you, Joe. That's on you. You got to know who's out there. And then the same as with Stefanski, you got to start calling the game based on your freaking talent, the talent you actually have. It's not just your scheme. You have to think about who you got out there at that time. These guys don't know where to be in the zone. Their zones are too wide and too soft. Quarterbacks like Zappy can sit back and throw to guys in empty pockets of the zone. So again, either these guys don't know where they're supposed to be, or you ain't teaching them where they're supposed to be. You're not making sure that they know where they're supposed to be. That's why they're not disciplined. That's why they're not tough. And that falls on you as a defensive coordinator, and that falls on your boss as the head coach. This shit has to stop. But we're in week 7 now. So you think it's going to stop now? All of a sudden? Think you guys are going to just stop? All of a sudden, everything's going to turn around? No, we're 3 years in. If you ain't figured it out by now, I said the same shit about Baker. 3 years in. Can't figure it out now. What we doing? I say that about all relationships. If you're dating somebody, I know people will kill me for this one. If you're dating somebody for 5 years and you haven't proposed yet, what on the planet Earth are you waiting for? Either you're gonna do it or you ain't. Shit or get off the pot. Should only take you about 2 years, 2 to 3, 3 max, to figure out if you want to marry this person or want to still be with this person. It doesn't mean that people don't work out after that, or no, it doesn't mean any of that. It just don't take you 10 years to figure out if you want to be with somebody. It just doesn't. You got all the information you're gonna need. It's already there. You find that out in the first 2, 3 years. Same thing. What are we trying to figure out, Kevin? What are we trying to figure out, Joe? AB, what are we trying to figure out? We 3 years in, man. Either your coordinators can coordinate or they can't. Either these dudes are leaders of men or they aren't. AB goes out, and this is number 3. I'm bringing him in now, pulling him off the shelf a little bit. He goes out, recognizes that we need some help, pulls off a trade, gets us, a former Pro Bowl linebacker, try to get somebody else on the field. But you know what I said when we made that trade? It ain't gonna matter. You can go out and get all the talent in the goddamn world. This dude, Joe Woods, ain't gonna figure out how to use him because this dude just has to fit into the system. So go get the pieces and parts for your system to work, you jackass. Yeah, guys got to tackle. Tackling is a part of it. And stop telling me, fans, stop telling me that the team can't tackle because they don't practice tackling, because that's across the whole league. Yet there are teams that really know how to tackle, like the New England Patriots. So the Browns not being able to tackle don't have anything to do with the new non-tackling protocol, not as much as you want to think, because other teams are still tackling when it matters. Anybody who knows anything about any sports, defense on any sports, basketball, football, that's effort and that's heart. You got to want to tackle that dude. And then you're going to do everything you can to make your presence felt. Ask the guys that have been really good. Nothing was going to stop Ray Lewis. Nothing was going to stop Terrell Suggs. Nothing was going to stop Mike Singletary. Nothing was going to stop Harrison. These guys. Nothing was going to stop these guys. They were coming. We don't have guys like that on our team. We don't even have a coach that's coaching that way. They think the schemes will solve the problems. No, they won't. And AB could go out and get everybody he want to go get until they're being taught the right way, and until they're being pushed the right way, and until they're being put in the right positions. We're going to still get the trash that we're seeing. It was a trash performance. And then my 4th guy, because I said I had the 3-headed dragon of Joe Woods, of Kevin Stefanski, and of Andrew Berry. My 4th person was an honorable mention, and he was an actual player. And I, just like I advocate, and I said I'm going to say this every show, I rarely advocate for someone's job. Joe Woods has to go. Kevin Stefanski, your seat just got hotter. It's on fire when it comes to calling the play. So, like, you're actually burning up, bro. You should get up. Stop, drop, and roll. But there's an actual player here that I highlighted. And guess what he did yesterday? Guess what he was yesterday? Complete trash. Grant Delpit is could possibly be the worst. He's definitely the worst safety on this team. He's not good at his job. All day long, I saw 22, the back of 22. Missing tackles, looking into the backfield when he's supposed to be covering tight end. Then when they do run, he's out of position because he done ran to the wrong spot, giving up long touchdowns, not being able to cover nobody. I rarely see John Johnson. It's like they target Grant Delpit because he stinks. Grant Delpit stinks. And I'm going to continue to come for him as long as he stinks. Stop stinking, bro. Take a shower once in a while. Watch some film. Get your IQ up. I know you in the NFL, I'm not. I know I ain't ever played a single solitary down in the league, and you at least made it there. You didn't play it on the highest of levels pretty much your whole life. But that ain't my job. That's your job. It's just like if you walk into a restaurant and tell somebody they're bad at what they do, or the cook stinks, or the menu sucks. You can do that, right? If somebody paints your house, you can tell them that they did a bad job, correct? Even though you don't paint houses, right? Okie doke. If somebody cuts your grass and they don't do a good job, somehow you can tell them that they don't know how to cut grass, even though you don't do that for a living, correct? Okie doke. So I don't do what you do for a living. However, you stink at your job. In case ain't nobody told you. And then the lack of accountability from the top down, from Kevin Stefanski, from Joe Woods. You know, these guys want to go and we're just going to get prepared for next week. We're just going to do this. And it allows these guys to keep the repetition of stupidity and ineptness going on because there's no repercussions. There's nobody coming down on them. There ain't nobody, getting mad. Let me tell you how my press conference would have went yesterday. Hey, listen, man, we got our asses kicked. There ain't no two ways about it. We can't have guys missing tackles. We can't have guys out of position. We regularly out of position. We're regularly out of position, and that's unacceptable. That's not how we practice. Even if it's how we practice, that's not how we practice. We can't have it. I don't see too many more games we're going to win playing like we played today. No, not these guys. They tuck their tails. And they, don't want to talk. Now you don't want to talk. Now you don't want to own the fact that, this was you, man. This is the stuff y'all put out. Y'all put this trash out, not us. We're just calling you on it, as we should. The fans watch the games. The fans pay for tickets. The fans pay $60 to park. They regular people, man. So they should boo. I remember when Jacoby, was it the second? I don't know if it was the second. No, I know when it was. It was after the second interception. We came right back out on our offensive when we got the ball back. And first and 10, pass. Bad pass. Second and 10, pass. Not even close. Third pass, third down. Another pass. 3 and out. 3 passes. No runs. No hits, no errors. Nothing. And it was like in the third quarter. So stop with the, we got to pass. We had to pass. No, we didn't. You got to do this averaging 4.7 yards a carry if you just turn around and hand them the goddamn ball. And I said on that 3rd down and 10, when he threw the third pass, I said, the fans, they're getting ready to boo. They're getting ready to boo. And the lady I was sitting next to was like, what you saying about the boo? I said, oh yeah, they're getting ready to boo. Watch. Just like that. Boos. Boos start raining down. I have a pulse for what these fans go through because I'm an actual fan. I've been in those stands. I've been a season ticket holder. I've been a fan of the team since I was a little boy, since 1980. Over 40 years. That's crazy. I've over 40 years I've been watching this team. There's only like two things I've ever done in my life over 40 years. And one of them is watch the Browns. The other one is live. So this is bad, man. And these guys are getting ready to lose that locker room. There's too much talent on this roster. Too many guys are wasting their primes, wasting their youths here with this bullshit. And this is bullshit. And if the Browns want to uh, hold themselves in the hierarchy of teams that give a shit about the team, who give a shit about how the team performs, and hold themselves in serious esteem when it comes to other organizations, they're gonna have to make some tough decisions. And I'm saying tough because, okay, I hired Kevin Stefanski and this is my guy. Oh, I hired Joe Woods and this is his guy and blah blah. You're gonna have to make some tough decisions. Sometimes you got to fire people that you like, and y'all gonna have to fire somebody, and it's got to happen. Ain't no way you can continue forward with this team as it's constructed. There's no way that you can continue to do the same bullshit. Mike Prefer, your special team sucked yesterday again. If it ain't missed field goals, it's muffed punt on the returns. Had an opportunity, and your guy goes out there and muffs the damn punt. I know Prefer might say, "Hey, I ain't the one who muffed that. You're not," but that's the guy you put out there. That's the guy you put out there. That's the guy you said should be my punt return. Remember, a couple weeks ago, you made a joke about, uh, you know, about the elf in the middle of the field not being your returner. This is the guy you chose to be your returner. You didn't want the elf because he holds the ball too loose, and this, that, and the other. Remember, it was a big ass joke. I got it on my IG page, on the Two Guys in the Mic IG page. Go look. Shit came back to bite you in the ass. You might need to hand it to the elf. He ain't dropped the ball yet. And then you have my man who was out of bounds on the one freaking time you're gonna cover an onside kick, and you got a guy coming from out of bounds uh to cover it. Of course, of course. So all phases of the game yesterday were terrible. There was nothing good about that game, and it was like the more that they tried to, pull the game back to get some level of control over it, it just kept getting away, kept getting away, kept getting away, kept getting away. It was a bad scene, and let me tell you something. This shit ain't getting better because Deshaun Watson could come back and we could score a lot of points with guys, but we can't stop nobody on defense. We can't stop anybody on defense. Now, if you tell me Deshaun Watson's throwing 45 times, I'm okay with that. That's still too much, but at least I know we got a chance to win or whatever. And that may not even be this season because Deshaun ain't quite in football shape. This team is a mess again. And I called it a couple years ago. I hate being right, but I'm right. And I was right. I'm done with the Browns for right now. Let's move on to the Guardians. who have a game tonight in New York, game 5. Again, like I said earlier, it's at 7 o'clock tonight. And of course, game 5, best of 5 series. It's a must win. We got to win this game. We got to come out of this thing with a win or our season is over. So that's why I'm in full, as you can see, full Cleveland gear, Cleveland baseball gear, that is. Because I'm hoping and praying that, the guys pull it out. And I think we can. That's the crazier part. Now, I'm not going to say I thought we could from the beginning. I thought, hey, listen, we got to the division series and, let's just go in there and play our brand of baseball and we should be okay. But I didn't expect us to, because we only beat the Yankees once this year. So I said, okay, we can get at least one. And we did. We got actually a tough one in the Bronx. So coming home with the split and then winning again, we won 2 in a row. That I did not expect that. That was ballsy, very ballsy. And that's something I love about this team. This team is a scrappy, they're just a scrappy team. They're a team that doesn't quit. This is a team that understands who they are. This is a team that gets what their attributes actually are, what their talent actually is. See how that works, Kevin? Yeah, I'm transitioning back. I said I was done with the Browns, but maybe not. They know who they are. They know what they're good at. They know what they're not good at. And I said they can't get into no slugging match with the Yankees. The Yankees got a murderer's row kind of a lineup. We can't long ball for long ball with these guys. And if we do for a game, we're not going to do it for 4 or 5 games. That's not how we're going to win. It's tough to win a game doing things outside of what you do best. So you got to stick to your script, Kevin Stefanski. So when you're a running team, just run the damn ball. When you're a small ball team, you just play small ball. When you're a team that pitches well, you send your pitchers out there and they just pitch their asses off to keep the small ball team in the game. And that's what we've been seeing throughout this series. And I said something similar to that. I said, if our pitching holds up, we give ourselves a chance. Our pitching has to hold up. We have better pitching than the Yankees do. The Yankees don't have poor pitching. I just think our bullpen is better. I think some of our starters can be better. We got better stuff on our, in terms of our starters. So it's a matter of us just doing the basic stuff that we generally do, and that's one of the reasons I've been hard on Tito, especially when it came to the postseason. I think this dude is probably calling his best postseason since being here in Cleveland. I haven't argued with one move he's made. He's gone in and gotten guys out, pitchers. He's pulled pitchers when he's needed to. He's brought, in general, the right pitchers in when they needed to come in. These guys have made the right pitch. Clase has been lights out. I call him El Profesor because anybody who knows what Clase means class. I call him El Profesor because of that. He's been balling. I love seeing this dude come in the game. He reminds me of Joe Table from some years ago, Jose Mesa. Jose Mesa, his first couple of years, he was dealing as well. You don't get 42 saves in the major leagues for nothing. This dude can pitch. And I know that closers, you don't see the longevity closers that we used to see, like the Riveras and these guys. I almost had his name in it, and it just escapes me. Lee. Damn, I can't think of his name. It's escaping me. Sorry, but you don't see these guys. the Dennis Eckersleys, the Mariano Rivera's, the guys that are just closers for, X amount of years, as much as we used to. Now we see guys that are really hot for like 3-4 years. So if we only get this guy hot right now, this is the perfect time to allow him to kind of run with it, because he's really good. That kid he's got some electric stuff. And then we just got to get timely hitting. So how do we win tonight? What do we got to do tonight? Number one, it's game 5. So approach it like it's a game 5. Approach it like from every aspect. And to be honest, I've always said that about any series, any sport that has a playoff series. So if it's basketball, you got to go into game 1 like it's game 7 to me. You got to play this thing hard, because I ain't trying to be down. Baseball is slightly different than basketball, because in baseball or in hockey, you put your best players out on the field or on the ice, or excuse me, on the court or on the ice at all times. Your best player. I got a Wayne Gretzky. I'm putting Wayne Gretzky out there every game. If I got a LeBron James, if I got a Michael Jordan, if I got a Kobe Bryant, if I have a CP3, that's my best player. Those are my best players. I'm putting them on the court, on the ice. Wayne Gretzky's and Mario Lemieux's. You're putting these guys on, on the prospective playing surfaces, because they give you your best opportunity to win those games. Baseball is different, because you don't always get a chance to put your best pitcher out there. He just pitched yesterday. The Yankees just pitched Garrett Cole yesterday. So guess what? One thing we don't have to worry about is seeing Garrett Cole, because he's actually been pretty solid. He's been their best pitcher all year, and he's been their best pitcher in the postseason. So we're not seeing him. So I think we can get to, their pitching. We just got to be patient at the plate. Do what we've done all year long. Be patient. Get timely hitting. These young cats are like oblivious to the pressure, it seems like. Guys like Stephen Rich Homie Quan. Yep, I give everybody a nickname somehow. Somehow I just come up with nicknames, and Stephen Kwan's nickname is Rich Homie Quan. That's what I call him, Rich Homie Quan. The young OG Oscar Gonzalez, who's showing up time after time after time. I call him the young OG because he's a rookie, and his initials are OG. So he's the young OG to me. Naylor has been, he's the heart. Honestly, I know J-Ram is the best player we have, but I think this dude is the emotional compass for the team. Josh Naylor. He's just, one of those dudes that no matter what's happening, no matter how it's happening, he's always fired up and ready to participate in the party. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need those guys, especially in baseball. He hit the home run yesterday, and he's rocking the cradle as he's running around the bases. I was like, man, I hope this don't come back to bite us in the ass. And apparently it didn't. They didn't take too much offense to it. But tonight we gotta do the same thing that got us here. If we stay true to ourselves, we got every opportunity to win this game. No errors, no mistakes. Can't give the Yankees extra base runners. One swing of the bat, these dudes got 2 or 3 runs. We've done a great job on pitching to Aaron Judge. He really hasn't been a factor. We gotta approach everybody the same way, because all of these guys can mash. So I think if we do the right things, if we stay the course, stay true to ourselves, we could bring this thing back. It's the first time I thought we could have won last night, seriously. But I knew when we didn't get that out at first, when we didn't get Aaron Judge out at first, that hurt us. And he ended up being that insurance run that moved it out to 4-2 as opposed to 3-2. So I'll definitely be watching. I got to work tonight. So that's one of the reasons why our show is kind of off. So I'll be at work again tonight, watching, paying attention, hoping and wishing for the best for the Guardians. Definitely rooting for them. Definitely looking forward to something positive coming from some sports team in Cleveland, and the Cavs don't start play, for another week or so. So just want to give a shout out to the Guardians, man. Love y'all. Let's play hard, let's play smart, and let's do what we know we're capable of. And even if they don't come out with this win, man, this team has been fun to watch. This team has been um, a welcome reprieve, especially in these last couple of weeks with the Browns sucking balls and cocks. Okay? All right, go Guardians. Per usual, go Browns. I'm going to wrap the show. Again, check us out on the audio stream. We're audio streaming on Google Podcasts, audio streaming on Apple Podcasts, also on Anchor and on Spotify. We are also video streaming on our YouTube page, all of which fall under the moniker of Two Guys and a Mic 216. I thank you guys for your time. I thank you guys for your viewership and for your listenership. Thank you. Tell your friends. Check in. We're going to get more content out there. I promise to you guys. Love you. Peace.